Okay, welcome to my Minecraft video. And today for my science class, I decided, well, for my astronomy class, I decided that I wanted to make a Minecraft solar system model. So I went ahead and did this, and the way I had to go about doing this was I had to go and look up all the different sizes of all the planets and the sun in kilometers, and then I had to transfer those down to meters because in Minecraft, one block is meant to represent 1 meter. So I scaled everything down to size by dividing by 10 million. So this is all the sizes of these planets are divided by 10 million. So they are a 10 millionth of their actual size. And then for the distances, I had to do something a little different because I'm not gonna go all the way across a map in Minecraft to show how big the solar system is. So instead, I decided to take the distances, calculate those for kilometers, and then turn those into meters, and then divide all of those by 10 billion. So the sizing is scaled down separately from the distance. So the sizing is 1/10 millionth of its actual size, while the distance is 1/10 billionth of the actual distance you would have to travel. And so I have built this whole model just today. And so here we have the sun. Let me go ahead and shut some of this off real quick. It's distracting me. So here we have the sun, a big ball of plasma that floats in our solar system and is constantly burning. But not burning, it's actually using the plasma to produce energy. And what the plasma is made out of is hydrogen atoms that are constantly being fused with other atoms, whether it be hydrogen itself, or eventually it'll turn red and then start fusing with helium. So this is honestly the largest thing I have ever built in Minecraft was the sun for this model. And it took a lot of time to build this, and I really didn't think it was going to take all that much time to build a sun. But when I got down to it, the scaling, you can see how small everything else is really in comparison just to the sun. And the sun does contain most of the matter of our solar system. And so, moving on from that, we have the beginning of our scaling for all these different planets. So Mercury had to use a little head from one of the creatures to represent it because it was so small that they don't really have a block for me to use for it. And the size of Mercury is 0.4879 meters according to the scale that I am using for this. And so since one block in Minecraft equals 1 meter, I had to scale this down. It's probably a little bigger than it should be, but that does throw it into perspective, especially compared to the sun, which is 139.1 meters approximately, because of course I can't divide the blocks. And then we have Venus, which is, as you can tell, slightly smaller than the Earth. And that's why I put these little signs on there, was because that was the only way I can make the block look slightly bigger. And Venus is actually just a little over 1 meter on this scale. It's actually 1.2104 meters. And then the Earth is 1.2742 meters. So it's slightly bigger on the scale. And then we have Mars, which I couldn't really make look round, but it's here. And it measures to be approximately 0.6779 meters. And so for this one, I used a half a block to try to represent it as best I could to keep the scaling accurate. And again, just to look at just the 4 rocky planets in our solar system, they are this close to the sun, give or take, with the scaling. And of course I had to round up in the numbers or round down depending on whether or not the decimal was too small or too big. But this is how close they are on a scale in this Minecraft world to the sun. And as you can see, the sun is really huge. In fact, I can come right over here and show myself standing next to it. And now the characters in this game are supposed to stand at about 6.6 feet, give or take. So they're supposed to be about 2 blocks high, so 2 meters. And even without scaling myself down, the sun is huge. I am a giant compared to Mercury and the Earth itself. So, really not a great comparison in this case. I'd have to be much smaller, very much smaller than a single block. But anyway, moving on from these planets, we have Jupiter out here. And Jupiter is actually the largest of the noble gas giants of our solar system. But they're not actually made of gas, they're mostly made of liquid. And so here we have Jupiter, got the little storm detail there, and it's already way further away from the sun, and the sun's starting to look a little bit smaller. And so moving on from Jupiter, which is 13.9820 meters, so 14 is what I rounded it up to. And then we have Saturn out here. And Saturn is that beautiful planet that you see that has the rings all around it. And as you can see, the sun is getting much smaller and the further out we go. So you can imagine that the temperatures here would get colder and not as much sun would reach the surface because of all the gas and liquid that is in the planet's atmosphere. And now moving out here further, we have Uranus. This is why I have those wings on, is so I can get out here faster, because it takes way too long for me and my joystick is having problems. But here you can see that the actual Minecraft sun is setting behind the sun that we've made. And the sun has started to lose any of its effect out here. So the brightness isn't that much. The clouds that are always covering the surface of this planet kind of block out a lot of the sun, so there's not much heat coming in through just radiation from the sun. And Uranus, oh, so to cover Saturn real quick, Saturn is approximately 11.646 meters on this scale, and Uranus is actually just 5.724, which I rounded to 6. And so it's gotten much smaller. You can still see the sun out there. After we move out here to Neptune, though, you won't be able to see it because we've gone too far to be able to see it anymore. But I'm having to use these wings because it's such a long ways out here just to get to this planet. So here we have Neptune on the edge of our solar system model, and I guess you can kind of see the Minecraft sun way out there in the distance, which is honestly good for us right now, so that way you can see how it doesn't seem to have much of an effect all the way out here. But as I said, the sun that we built for this model is completely hidden now because the chunks won't load that far. But Neptune did measure to be approximately 5 meters in this model, with an exact of 4.9244 meters. And so that is the edge of our solar system. Now further out, though, we could experience some, well, even just in Neptune's orbit, we could experience passing ice chunks that are sitting out on the edge of our solar system. But yeah, you can see that Neptune is far, far away. And according to the scaling, I actually had to walk or fly out 453 meters on this scale alone, just to be the correct distance away from the sun on a 10 billionth of the scale. So this is a very microscopic amount of distance to travel in comparison to that what would have been 453 times 10 to the 9th. And now we have the stars coming out and the moon is appearing appropriately for this video conclusion. But just to recap, we have Neptune all the way out here. We have Uranus right out here. And we have Saturn. The sun is coming back into view. Jupiter. You can see just how small these planets are in comparison. We have Mars, Earth, Venus, and poor little Mercury being very small. It is a dead planet, so it's very fitting that we have the skull there, because there's no chance that life could be on that planet, to what we know of anyway. But then we have our sun. It's huge, it's massive, it makes everything on this scale look completely tiny. I was surprised that it was that big. But that is the video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned something from this, and feel free to share this with your friends. Tell them about it, and tell them to take an astronomy class. It's a great course. You'll learn a lot about the universe and even just your solar system, our little neighborhood here in the Milky Way galaxy. And there's so much more to learn, so I encourage you all to go out there and try to learn something new. And that will conclude our video. Thanks for watching, and feel free to hit like and subscribe if you like this content.